Terra Noel at Twist Mesquite Performance Horses. We're on a mission to create a world-class 2-year-old program that specializes in the reined cow horse. Today we're filming in a new location. Got moved to a new location just south of Childress, Texas, back where we both my wife and I started out here. Both of our families are from this area over here, so we're in a new arena while we are getting ours built and kind of designing that right now. So this will be kind of our location for a little while as we'll get this arena kind of fixed up a little bit, and then as we are getting our new one built. So this is doing a review video here. This is the first week with this horse. This is going to be kind of maybe a little series with this horse, but just kind of showing his progress. This is just a good old ranch horse that this horse has been used in the ranch, and he's been roped off some. The customer that sent him to us just said he wants to be able to just get on this horse and go check his cows. Hadn't rode this horse in a little while. So far seems to be pretty good. We've just been kind of feeling out where this horse is at, kind of working on just bringing him back up, getting him legged back up, making sure our kind of basics are here with this horse, and we're just spending some time riding him. So far this week we've done a little bit of groundwork, just enough to kind of warm him up, and then when I started riding him, I was kind of feeling what we had here, and he felt pretty broke. There were some things that just needed to be tuned up, and so those are kind of some things that we're working on. But we'll kind of go through what we've been working on so far this week, do a short little review with him, and we'll just go from there. So he kind of reins around a little bit pretty well. Not as much to this, going to this right side, but not as much here. I found out he kind of throws his head, he'll kind of get a little anxious there. And so, what we work on first, I want to make sure that I can go and I can pick up these reins and I can stop. I want to wait till he stops his feet and he gets soft to those reins. I've noticed, pick up on these reins, he has a tendency to flip his head, then throw his head up in there. And so I want to pick these reins up. He kind of nudges them. I don't want to give back to him until he gets soft right there and comes back to me. Right there, he kind of tip that nose up. It's going to be a work in progress, but every time I stop him, I want to make sure that he gives that nose back to me. He stops his feet and gives that nose to me. As I said, he'll kind of neck rein around. So that's pretty good. With this horse, I've noticed just kind of a typical ranch horse thing on one that hasn't been rode in a little while. He kind of wants to get up and go somewhere, kind of what I term as running off. But what I mean is when you get on him, when you start out a walk, he wants to get into a trot, and then he wants to get up into a lope, and then he wants to just get faster and faster and just kind of run off. And you have to you have to teach that horse how to stay in that gait that you put him in, or hold him back from running off. And that's kind of where that head flipping kind of starts to be a problem, because that horse resents you sitting on those reins and sitting in his mouth, kind of holding into his mouth all the time, and those horses will start flipping and getting mad and flipping their head. And so one of the first things, I got on this horse, I want to make sure that I can steer him, and that I can stop him. So I want to just take my feet off, pick up on these reins, and wait till he gets soft to me and let him go. I've kind of felt this horse out On the ground, I don't think he's done any groundwork for quite a while, so he kind of gets silly on the ground a little bit. But under saddle, I would say I haven't felt any buck or anything in him, so not too concerned about that. It's more so it's just getting some control where I want him to decide to stay at this trot, stay at the gait I want him in. So we'll just, right now I'm just asking him to trot around. He's staying at this trot. I'm gonna check the stop there. And that flipping his head after I've already released him, I'm not gonna worry about that. It's just an attitude thing that the more we ride him, he'll kind of get over that. He's just kind of protesting. So we'll kind of be out of view of the camera a little bit, but the next thing we work on is just making sure I can ride him at whatever gait just around this arena. So I'm just gonna stick on this fence line and keep at this trot. And I'm not holding him back. If he decides to get too fast or he decides to speed up, which he might, then I'm gonna bring him back down to this to a stop, and then we're gonna go back to a trot from there. See, he's decided he wanted to go and run off, wanted to start loping off without me asking him, and so I'm gonna pick up on these reins until he gets soft and he stops his feet. Then we're gonna sit here a second. It's that impatientness. It's just him being impatient. Thinks he wants to take off and run off somewhere. Again, the same thing here. That impatientness where they feel like they have to go run off somewhere. That's, if you allow that attitude to continue, it has the potential to get you hurt. Or get somebody younger, if somebody more inexperienced. I think that his owner has plenty of experience and for sure could handle this horse. But what our job is to get this horse riding around where you get on him and he just goes and he'll stay at that. If he just wants to, his owner wants to just long trot him around, where we can just long trot him around and not continue to run off. Seeing right there, he's gotten used to somebody being pretty heavy-handed on his mouth, so he braces, sticks his head up in there, and so we want to be real soft on these reins, reward him when he gets soft to us, and that stop will get better as we go. He's pretty good going this direction, but he wants to run off and run back to the gate, coming this opposite direction. That's where the barn is, and so it's no, wherever we're at, he doesn't get to do that. His job is to stay at this trot as long as we ask him to be here. When we ask him to stop, his job is to stop softly with no protest. And if we ask him to lope off, his job is to lope off at a controlled lope. Now, if we want him to speed up and get some speed under him, then we ask him to do that. And his job is to do that as well. But a horse that you get on him and just wants to run off and prance and just act a fool, well, that's a dangerous horse to be riding. There's a lot of people that can get around a horse like that, but it's very take some time, but it's simple to correct that behavior so that we have an enjoyable horse to ride. A horse that will just trot along, he's got a good handle on him, will stop when you ask and do what you ask. What I like about this horse is he's got a pretty nice trot. Here next week I'll get to where I'm taking him outside and just cover miles on him. We're fortunate, blessed here to be at this place. Our family has a lot of ranch land around here, so we can take these horses through canyons and through the pastures and go prowl through cattle and be able to just take these horses out and go put them to work. But at the same time, we can put these horses through the fundamentals, through the basics of our program that gets a good handle on them. Gets a good rein cow horse foundation on these horses, and then as we progress them, then we can have the option to start working them on cattle and such as that. So, if you notice right there, we came back around twice and he didn't take off into that lope, and so just a couple days of working on that behavior, he's already starting to think about it. He says, well, I better just sit at this same gait and just kind of control his own feet right there. We're not babysitting him. I'm not holding him back. Again, that's gonna create worse. That's gonna make that behavior compound. We want to correct the behavior if it happens. We won't let him commit to the mistake and then correct it. We don't want to hide any holes. We want to find them and address them. We won't do it today, but another thing we're going to work on, we started working on, is doing this follow this fence at a lope, and that way we spend enough time at that lope to where this horse starts thinking about breaking back on his own, and he starts thinking about having a nice smooth lope rather than an abrupt, a hard lope that he continues to gain speed. And that kind of lope, that's what a horse will do when they're anxious, when they're worried, when they're trying to run off. They're being just kind of fearful and thinking they have to run off and go somewhere. But a horse that's taking care of his own feet, that's what we're looking for right here. So another one of these exercises we're going to work on while we're here in this arena, and we can do this similar exercise out in the pasture, and we can just do it going towards trees. But I want to just pick a straight line around this arena and just have him travel this straight line. When we get to the end, I want him to keep coming along this fence line, hit another corner, and go down another straight line here. I want him to cover country going straight, and I want him to wait for my direction when we get to the end. This is a really good exercise to do at the lope as well. But you can kind of see, whenever I pick these reins up, you can kind of see him twirl his tail, elevate his head a little bit. He's kind of concerned about taking directions. So the more we can do it, the more relaxed we can get him just doing this basic stuff, this basic riding around, steering, stopping, and controlling his gait. With these horses, I want to make sure to be able to have all of this put on them before I take them outside, just for my safety and the horse's safety. When we kind of get a pretty good little handle on them, then I can take them outside. But I like to have more handle on them, as I said, just for my safety and the horse's safety. Because, you know, face it, a lot of people coming into the industry now, they haven't had a whole lot of experience, and you know, we want to create a horse that has been through a really good program, that has had a good basic foundation put on them, to where, you know, we give them the opportunity to work through a lot of silly stuff that may come up. I want to make sure, you know, especially since he does have a magnet going back towards this gate, I want to make sure to rest him somewhere that is not in front of that gate. I don't want to ride him and then jump off and get off right at the gate. I want to reward him somewhere else, somewhere ideally that he doesn't like. So we kind of just work out some of that mentality of just and some of that is just these horses that have been turned out for a little while. They just start thinking about themselves. They start thinking about the herd. They start kind of regressing in some of that, and so it's our job to work on them and put them through a routine where these horses start thinking about what we're asking them to do and start thinking about being in a good frame of mind. So that's just a quick overview of some of the things we worked on so far this week. As I said, so far he's been, you know, just needing to be rode, just spending some time riding him and reminding him of these basics. And then next week, like I said, we're going to take him outside. I'm going to put some miles on him outside. I think he's in a good place mentally to where we can have some successful rides outside. You know, these horses that have been trained before, sometimes you find holes that to spend time filling those holes so that you can do a good job for the customer, and do a good job for the horse. This horse here, you know, he's good on the ground, you know, saddling, loading the trailer, being around him, catching him, all that stuff is really good. No problems there. He's quiet, gentle. Yeah, just the groundwork, you know, I don't think he's been having groundwork really done with him a whole lot recently, so he kind of acts a little silly there, but then once you get on him, like I said, you know, like right here, he's remembering and he's figuring things out pretty quick, just getting back in the swing of things. So overall, I'm really pleased with this horse. Again, this is the first week we've had him, is the end of the first week, so overall I'm pleased with how he's come along. We're excited to continue on with him and continue to keep you updated. So that'll be it for this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.